Sage Advice with Melissa is a new informative health and lifestyle show for you to gain knowledge and inspiration to help guide your journey to think, work, and live more powerfully. Whether you're trying to improve your life from a mental, physical, or spiritual journey, Sage Advice with Melissa Coleman, CEO of Sage Skincare, delivers weekly advice from the best experts to provide you with insightful suggestions to allow you to thrive with a better quality of life. It's her mission to guide you through the uncharted waters of health and wellness and to give you a voice on what can help improve your life and your mental, physical, and spiritual journey. Okay, audience, here's Melissa.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Sage Advice with Melissa. I am your host, Melissa Coleman. We are here with you every Saturday on KWRH 92.9 FM and simulcasting on KXOK 102.9 FM. And again, that's every Saturday at 11 o'clock. And then you can catch us Monday through Fridays from 7 to 8 a.m. And then again from noon to 1 p.m. Just go to usradionnetwork.com, look up our show, and all our platforms are listed there for you. We are here in our month of mental health and awareness. I have my beautiful co-host, Maddie King-Erger, with me, and we've got the very handsome Fred Williams back with us. It's been a minute since you've been here, but I'm so excited to have you back and see what you're doing these days and share some good nuggets of information. I think since you were here last, we have exponentially grown. We are approaching, or maybe now over, 12 million weekly listeners on the internet and TV side of things. And then always we have up to 1 million listeners here, potential in St. Louis locally. So we've got a lot of listening avenues for people to find out all this good information about you.
Lots to be grateful for.
Yes, absolutely. So today's topic is self-regulation and self-care. So Fred is going to share his knowledge in that arena with us, but let's let everybody know a little bit about you.
Okay.
So Fred is a psychotherapist and owner of Mental Alchemy Counseling in Clayton, Missouri. He primarily practices a combination of person-centered therapy and solution-focused brief therapy. Fred received his bachelor's degree from the University of Illinois in 2006. In 2021, he received his master's degree in clinical mental health counseling from Webster University. At Mental Alchemy Counseling, Fred works with teens and adults on a variety of issues, such as anxiety, depression, life transitions, addictions, grief, and more. Prior to seeking a career as a psychotherapist, Fred spent 10 years in corporate America as a regional sales manager. Welcome back to the show, Fred.
Thanks for having me, Melissa.
Yes, I want to share a little bit because, again,
share.
we have grown since you have been here last. So what was it that really made you go from sales, being in corporate America, and that is no easy task in and of itself, to transitioning over into psychotherapy?
I was killing myself. I was neglecting myself for the company, for sales goals, for money. It was like I still had this attitude of I'm on my baseball team and I'm willing to do whatever it takes for the team, even if that means not to take care of myself and put myself second. Mm-hmm. And I realized one day through self-reflection that I wasn't taking care of myself, and it was really my own fault.
Right.
I was in charge of me and I wasn't putting myself first.
Right. So that's why we're here today to talk about self-regulation and self-care. So I think this is going to be a big subject. And life transitions. Yes, we are. I have
we're already talking about life transitions.
Yes. But we're going to go a little deeper because as I'll share in the second half of the show, when you think of life transitions, it's more of transitioning from life into death. Is what comes to mind, so, but, we don't give enough, knowledge or acknowledgement to life transitions as we're living. So I think, that's what we're really going to focus on today in the second half of the show. So So let's just get into it. What is the meaning of self-regulation?
It's simply that, being able to regulate yourself. And it's something I'm very passionate about. And I feel like we should all be taught these things in like kindergarten.
Yes.
Like we aren't taught how to take care of ourselves, how to regulate ourselves. And what I mean by self-regulation is being aware of what's going on with you, what you need. Is it more water? Is it more stillness? And one of my biggest ways to do this is to meditate and sit with myself, sit within myself, and see what's off. Just sitting here and just seeing what I need and knowing what lights me up. Maybe I just need to listen to some music. Maybe I need to go outside and take a walk. But I think we can be programmed to think, oh, I need a drink. Or I need something that isn't necessarily good for me. So finding those healthy habits that help you self-regulate, like journaling, like I said, going for the walk, going to the gym, whatever it is for you. You know what's best for you. Melissa, what's something you used to do as a kid that you don't do anymore that made you feel good?
I would say the biggest thing is probably my art. You know, it was very passionate for me when I was younger. And then, you know, as you were mentioning, the programming,
Yeah.
you know, when I was in high school, you know, my dad's like, what are you thinking about doing? And this, that, and the other. And I'm like, I think I'm going to go into art school. He's like, you'll make no money. And I also loved accounting. So, because I like numbers too. So I was like, all right, so I'll do the accounting thing. And then I'll have art on the side, you know.
And then the art part got suppressed and pushed to the side.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we had a drawing time at the office not too long ago. Yes. So we had sound bath going.
I love a good
and
sound
a
bath.
group of us were doing our artwork. And that was probably the first time I've drawn or sat down to even do anything creative in that way. Probably in years. Absolute years.
I would ask Maddie the same question, but I feel like she does
Girl,
all the stuff that she's doing the same thing she
Girl
did when she was
does
4.
everything, yes, because she is all about that inner child work. Always. Yeah, there is lots of twerking going on in Maddie's world.
I've seen it.
A lot.
Oh my goodness. So how do you use self-regulation with working with your clients? Because I know everybody's a little different. So how do you come to find out what that person needs?
So like my favorite question is simply what I just asked you.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes I'll go even deeper. I was like, why don't you go home and by the next time we meet, make a list. I'm not going to put a number on the list. It can be 3 items. It could be 10 items of things that light you up currently that you're not doing, or things that you used to do as a kid that made you feel good and that you're not doing. And then let's come back and let's talk about it. And then like some of those things they can still do, but it's going to require a little effort. Going to the gym to get back to running 2 or 3 miles, something that they were able to do. Some things they could do right now. You know, I used to write poetry all the time, but it sometimes it just takes the right question for you to reflect on something that you're not doing, that you've been missing, that you need, that's going to make you happier and relieve some of that stress. The more you do it, your body's going to hold on to that feeling of excitement and joy. And for meditation, it holds on to that feeling of calm and stillness, which a lot of us don't get.
Yes. And how does that look for you, Miss Maddie?
Like my calm and stillness.
Yes.
This is where I struggle because we were at a sound bath last night, right? I struggle with sound baths. I cannot sit still.
I saw you doing yoga last
I
night.
was doing yoga during
I struggle sometimes too,
Do you?
especially depending on the energy of the space. Like I can't always get in that space. Like
Yeah.
if there's noisy stuff going on, or, you know, I kind of feel some of the energy, and
Mhm.
you know, if somebody's like having a moment, like it makes it impossible to get into that space.
Mhm.
So for you, Fred the therapist,
Yeah, that's me.
what would you tell somebody like us that might be struggling in that moment of getting
Same
home?
thing I tell everyone. So I'll have my clients meditate or go through the 4-7-8 breathing technique, and they come back and they're like, I struggle. I just can't do it. I'm not good at meditation. So what's something that you are good at, Maddie?
Dancing.
Dancing. Were you just automatically good at dancing?
I was so good at dancing that they kicked me out of dance class as a kid because I was doing my own dance,
Mm.
not their dance. And they were like, you got to go. They were like, you got to.
So, like, how often do you dance?
Every day.
Every day.
So you
Multiple
She
times a day.
knows.
so you get a lot of practice in. So there's a lot of repetition.
Yes.
So, like, if you want to be good at anything, meditation is the same way. You have to practice it. Or just laying on a mat
Mhm.
while you're at a sound bath, it takes the same thing. It's repetition.
Mhm.
Everything's about repetition. If you want to learn something, get good at it, you got to practice it.
Yes.
Absolutely. And for somebody that's maybe just starting out, I feel
Mhm.
like, we've probably got listeners that are new to
Mhm.
this, that are very advanced in it, but somebody that's new and struggles with the meditation piece, what would be your suggestion in getting started?
Get an app. So you can pay for
Mm.
Headspace or Calm, but there's lots of free ones out there, and just start with an app. When I was an absolute rookie, there was this guy at this company that I worked at, and I'd get to work early, and he'd already be in his office just zoned out with his headphones in. I was like, dude, what are you doing? And he was like, I'm meditating. And so I started like that with just an app. And then it evolved to me going to float tanks, which is a whole nother cool experience. And then during COVID, the float tanks were shut down.
Yep.
So I took a weekend class at the Transcendental Meditation Center, and now I sit for twice a day for 20 minutes at a time. So long answer to your story. Start with to your question. Start with a meditation app. Just walk you right through it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Just find a quiet room. You don't have to get all wild and have your feet up. Just feet on the ground.
And just sit
Straight
and
back.
relax.
Just sit and relax. Just chill out.
Yeah.
And just do what the person says.
And how often do you meditate?
Not very often. I have a couple cents though. Because like for me, I do consider my dance parties like
Meditation.
a movement meditation. Yeah. Like something I was gonna say earlier was like lean in to yourself. So instead of fighting the feeling that I wanted to be moving during the sound bath yesterday, I said, okay, do it. Do it intentionally though. Like
Mhm.
I moved very slowly. Like I wasn't like, okay, I'm gonna like go off. I was
Power
like,
yoga.
I was like, no, I was like, we're not power yogiing right now. Like we are just very much so moving with the breath and with like the sensations of my own body. So lean into who you are and you'll
Mhm.
figure it out from there. But as far as meditation, I try to make everything I do very like sacred and ritualistic.
Mhm.
So I have preparation for when I go into meditation. And that consists of breath work, potentially lighting incense or a candle. I have steps that I was taught in my yoga teacher training. But what I learned most recently from my my Foundations of Ayurveda course is that the most important thing is that you actually are comfortable.
Mhm.
So our teacher told us it's best that your hips are above your knees so that you're not cutting off the blood circulation. So it's good if you have a block or if you have like a meditation like stool so that you're keeping your hips above your knees, not cutting off the circulation and allowing that your spine can be elongated, because what's going on is that when your spine is elongated, then your prana,
Mhm.
your life force, your breath can flow
That
evenly.
makes sense.
If that can't flow evenly, then there's no way you're going to reach serenity
Absolutely.
because you're already blocked.
Right.
But so that's very important. But what I find breath work does is it kind of like tricks you into getting into the zone, because you have to put your concentration into the breath, and then all of a sudden you realize I do feel really still and calm, and it preps you for going into the meditation. And then during the meditation you can do certain techniques. I don't think I could just sit and be like, okay, blank. No. So what you can do is mantra.
Mhm.
So it's a combination of two words, manas and tra, which means mind tool. It's a tool for the mind. And so if you repeat something back to yourself and keep that as the focus of your meditation, it will be very fruitful, right? The whole point of meditation is that you merge with the object of your meditation and become one.
Mhm.
That is what the goal is. So if you're saying nourishment, that's one I've been working on personally. So if I just concentrate on the word nourishment for the entire duration, I am merging myself with that. Or if I'm concentrating on God or divinity or whatever it is. So allow yourself to have something to concentrate on, whether it's that, whether it's something like touching each of your fingers and saying Sata Nama, that's another yogi technique. And that is actually representing the cycles of life. So birth, life, death, rebirth.
Mhm.
Very helpful for people like me with ADHD, that you have something to do with your fingers and to say in your head or possibly aloud. So do like Fred said, like go get an app and let them guide you. Look up other techniques, but like I swear to you, if you try to just sit down and quote unquote meditate, yeah, of course it's gonna be hard. Like
Right.
who can do that? Monks.
Yes.
Monks can, not you. So sorry.
And
that's
even
so
so, it took them lots of practice to get there.
Yeah, because you can't just start off. It's like you, even no matter what meditation route you go, if you just start even with 30 seconds,
Mhm.
just take that moment to
Yes.
breathe.
Set a timer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And increase it
Yes.
each time you do it so you can get into that
Yeah.
flow. I have my girlfriend, Kimberly, who loves you, by the way.
Hi,
Hi,
Kimberly.
I remember when she started, practicing meditation and Buddhism and all that, and she had to sit on the little pillow. She calls me, she goes, I can't sit on the little pillow for that long. And she's
Back
like,
starts hurting.
I can't be still. So, but it took her time too.
Mhm.
It does take that time. And I know for me, like, I love taking that moment in the morning and that moment in the evening just to
Mhm.
settle down in my body.
Just check in with yourself.
Mhm.
Exactly. I just want to remind everybody, if you're just now joining us, you're listening to Sage Advice with Melissa. I'm your host, Melissa Coleman. We're here today with Fred the therapist, talking about self-regulation and self-care. I have Miss Maddie here, my delightful co-host, and we are sharing about all these wonderful things for everyone. So, I think most people at this point understand self-care. But in your world, how does self-care play a part in working with your patients?
It's keeping it simple. It's helping them develop a routine to care for themselves. So self-regulation and self-care, they just kind of go hand in hand. It's
Mhm.
so what do you need to care for yourself? I know we think of it as like, oh, I gotta go get my nails done, or for me, I gotta get my hair cut
Right.
once a week, if not every other week. But the things that allow you to care for yourself and do them on a consistent basis, developing these positive habits. Like I've yet to meet anyone that has positive habits that's not doing well in life, that's just completely stressed out. Developing these positive habits are just going to help you attack life in a much better way. You get your
Mhm.
inner world together, and then your outer world's just going to submit to you.
Mhm.
Always, which is what this show has been built on, is that
Mhm.
mind, body, and spirit. It's like everything starts on the inside. It's like
Mhm.
when you're aligned in there, or at least in the process of getting aligned, it makes everything outside so much smoother.
I disagree.
You disagree?
I disagree.
Okay.
Don't you love when I do that?
I do.
Sure,
I want to know if Fred disagrees.
I disagree because I think it's when you start doing the things on the outside that the inside changes. We live in a world of, I always say the word gross, and people are like, why is she saying that? But I mean, as the opposite of subtle. Like, we need material things and we need to see it and we need to feel it to know that it's real, right? Like, we're so disconnected from the idea of energy and like being
Mhm.
inward that we need to do the outside to get the inside, right? So I think what you're saying with the self-care and the self-regulation is you do things in the outside world that impact your inside world. So, for example, like this morning, I made my bed and I really
Mhm.
took the time to maneuver and like get this thing tucked in and fluff my pillows and make sure that the like fluffy one was like sitting just right, because I just like for it to sit there all day when I'm not there and be cute And I like to wake up and
Mhm.
start warming my water, squeeze lemon into it, possibly ginger and honey. And these things make me feel cared for,
Absolutely.
right?
Mhm.
They are things that I am doing in the outside world, in the physical and the gross world, that hugely impact my inside world. And I say that's where you begin, because it's harder to go into the inside. But if you start working with the outside, you'll get more connected to the inside.
I couldn't disagree with you more. So when you decided,
I love it.
when,
This is so
you,
great.
when you went to make your bed, what was the first thing you did?
What do you mean?
Just the process of making your bed. What's the first thing you have to do?
I went to go like straighten out
No.
one of the sheets.
You had a thought. You made a decision.
Mm.
So everything starts inside,
Uh-huh.
even with the thought. And the calmer you are, the less anxious you are, the clearer you're thinking. So you have thoughts.
Uh-huh.
Those thoughts influence your feelings, and those feelings influence your behavior.
Mhm.
So the calmer you are in here, the easier you're going to be able to make the best decisions for you in this out external world. But it absolutely starts in here, calming the spirit, calming the mind, and be able to just have those thoughts that allow you to begin to self-actualize. So starting to calm the mind is, I think, where everyone should start, because this table, where did it originate? Someone's mind.
Mhm.
Before it was out here, it was in here, and now it's out here. All starts within.
Mm.
As within, so without.
Mm.
So let me ask you, because I love this.
Mhm.
I just so love this. Because so for clients or patients, I'm not sure how you refer to the people you work
Clients.
with. Clients. Okay. I like that. For those people that are maybe more outside
Mhm.
than inside, is there a way to work with the outside in order to get in the inside, like Maddie said?
A way to work with
Well,
the
you know,
outside.
like if people are more focused
Yes,
on the
find a therapist.
outside.
So yes, find a therapist. But even still, everything you're saying, even if you're working with the outside to fix the inside, for
It's
me,
still
it's
the
all
in-
starting with
At the
the
inside.
inside. You can't do anything without thinking about it first. So you're gonna make a thought, make a decision, and you're gonna do it. Or my favorite is you have a terrifying thought, and then you feel awful, and you never want to feel that way again. So then you start doing things differently in your life to make those changes.
Right.
It was like the way I was feeling when I was in that corporate space. I was so bad that when I realized this was me, I had to make changes. So sometimes it's not just those what we associate as positive feelings that force us to change our outer reality. It's the negative ones. So are they really negative? Is it really bad?
No.
No.
Mhm.
A lot of great can come from so-called bad things, or
Right.
light comes from darkness.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Because there's the most light in the most dark.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Yes. Yes.
Agreed.
Did you want to?
Yeah,
Add
no,
in?
I think coming to that space of not labeling things as good or bad
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
is where you can find that sort of serenity.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think that's what's given me the greatest peace, is that I just allow things to show up as they are, for what they are. And like, okay, this is just trying to inform me. My feelings, they're just trying to inform me, and they're passing. Just like the clouds. They're
Mhm.
sending me a message.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not my job to like hold on for dear life and go on some crazy cloud adventure. It's my job to see them, recognize them, and let them keep moving on. And that's how everything is in our life. It's not necessarily good or bad. It may start raining
Yeah.
because you need a drink. Okay, you need a shower off. Like you're dirty. Like that's what's going on. It's a gift, actually. It's not a curse.
Always.
Yeah.
Always. Yes. No, I love
So,
that.
So the next time something bad happens, take a second and just say, "Is this good or bad? I don't know," and reserve passing judgment. I started doing the first time I did this. I saw this YouTube video where every time something happened, the guy would be like, "Is this good or bad?" Or no, he would assume people would tell him it was bad, and he would say maybe. He didn't know yet. And then something would happen down the line, and he would reflect on that, and it was like, oh, I wouldn't have gotten this blessing without this
Mhm.
bad circumstance. So I saw that video, and then soon after, a car breaks down. I'm on the side of the road, and I'm like, is this bad? I'm like, maybe not. We'll see. So I get towed into the auto body, and the guy keeps it for a day, and he says, so I got good news and bad news. I was like, all right, give me the bad news. And he's like, well, I wouldn't recommend putting a dime in this engine. It's done. It's shot. It's not coming back to life. And I was like, well, what's the good news? Well, the good news is Hyundai has a recall on engines, and I've had 3 clients that have gotten brand new engines for free. So sure enough, I got a brand new engine for free. So was that a bad thing that happened to me, that my car broke down and I was stuck on the side of the road, or a good thing?
Good thing.
Yeah. We don't know until we get down the road to see how our life shapes up.
I love that you both mentioned that, because like in my spiritual study, you know, everything is good or bad. It is all good, because no matter what the lesson is, we have something to learn in the good and the bad. So it's all good.
Oh,
No matter what.
It's all good. Truly. And like, it's a test of like, can you remain good?
Yes.
That's what I feel like now. I'm like, I feel like I'm ready for this or that. And I'm like, well, it's all a trying experience, and you are ready for what you're receiving.
Yeah.
Nothing less, nothing more. That's it.
Right.
So a friend of mine named Matt, sometimes we'll get in these moods where we just feel like we can accomplish anything. And so he was like, well, what if you get fired from your job? I'm like, perfect. I've been waiting to practice my interview skills. Just whatever it is, good. I'm glad that happened. I'm glad my tire was flat, because now I get to see how fast I can change it. Just whatever it is, just accept it, and that know that you can handle it.
Exactly. That's the biggest thing, is that knowing and that faith.
Yeah.
No matter what. If you have that, even in those trying moments, which is why Fred the therapist is here, to help people get through those things and learn and grow.
And it's beautiful because it's contagious too. Like, even like this little example, I was like, yes, I feel, yes, I can do it. Like, I felt that energy, and that came to me as well.
Yes. Believe it or not, we are coming up on our break. So Fred, share with everybody how they find you and work with you and learn from you.
You can find me on Instagram at Fred the Therapist. You can find me at my website, Mental Alchemy Counseling. Mental spelled Mental Alchemy, ALCHEMY, Counseling, COUNSELING.com. And you can reach out to me by cell, 618-960-8700. Email fred.williams@mentalalchemycounseling.com.
And can you repeat your number one more time? Just
618-960-8700.
And just for our listeners that are all across the U.S., do you work remotely with people?
I do. However, you have to be in the state of Missouri. That's how licensure works.
Oh, gotcha. I wasn't even thinking about that. So
Yeah,
yes,
that's in the legislation.
exactly.
Right now. So
Exactly.
we shall see.
Was not even thinking about that
That could
piece,
change.
but yes. All right, everybody, we're going to take a few minutes and take a break, and we will be back with you shortly. Stay tuned.
If you're looking for a new informative health and lifestyle show to gain knowledge and inspiration to help guide your journey to think, work, and live more powerfully, then you need to listen to Sage Advice with Melissa. Now, whether you're trying to improve your life from a mental, physical, or spiritual journey, Sage Advice with Melissa Coleman, CEO of Sage Skincare, delivers weekly advice from industry experts to provide you with insightful suggestions to allow you to thrive with a better quality of life. Melissa's mission? To guide you through the uncharted waters of health and wellness, and to give you a voice to help improve your life. So be sure to tune in to Melissa. You'll be glad you did.
Hey, listeners, saying thanks to your customers is nice and polite, but expressing your gratitude in memorable and ongoing ways can boost your business. At Promo Experts LLC, we exceed our customers' expectations. For over 20 years, our product knowledge and experience has helped them with their marketing initiatives and trade show graphics. We are happy to put that experience to work for you. Quality products, great customer service, and prices are our #1 priority. We work with you to find unique, creative, and new ideas that fit your image and expectations, helping you build strong relationships with your customers. When you select Promo Experts as your marketing partner, we help you to see more than the big picture. For more information about this exciting opportunity, contact Diane Carson, President, at 636-458-5241. That's 636-458-5241. Let Promo Experts help you to move your business brand beyond the bland.
Do you want to become a radio show host, or do you want to create a radio show? Well, Dr. Stan Fine can help you to have your own radio show and put you on 100 cities daily across the U.S. And you can immediately start recording from a live radio studio. As a radio industry veteran, Dr. Stan Fine has 12 years of experience and has produced and hosted over 1,000 radio shows with over 10 million listeners. Dr. Stan Fine knows how to make this happen for you. He's a pro, and he can turn your dreams into a reality. Dr. Stan Fine will help you with everything from learning how to promote your show, develop a host persona, interview techniques, market your show on social media, teach you how to get guests and sponsors, and more. Dr. Stan Fine can put you on the air nationwide daily to 100 cities. If you're interested in making your dream come true, if you want to see how it all works, then give Dr. Stan Fine a call at 314-710-8413. That's 314-710-8413. You've got nothing to lose, and Dr. Stan Fine can help make your nationwide radio dreams come true.
Is your business struggling with getting found online? Are you having a hard time finding a marketing company that you can trust? Look no further than Vivial. At Vivial, we are experts at helping connect buyers to consumers by our innovative marketing strategies with proven methods that help businesses connect to their target demographic. For a free consultation, call Anthony today at 314-437-1906. That's 314-437-1906.
Have you always wanted to write your own book but don't know where to start? Publishing Concepts, a publishing company located right here in St. Louis, offers everything from consulting, book printing, copyrights, ISBNs and barcodes, print book layout, ebook and iBook layout, graphic design, cover design, ghostwriting, typing and editing, distribution, marketing, and more for an affordable price. Visit publishingconceptsllc.com or just Google Publishing Concepts to get started today, or call 314-781-8880. That's 314-781-8880. Publishing Concepts. We help you sell more books.
Many small businesses do not have a marketing manager. In many cases, it is the company owner that drives marketing and sales efforts with the gut instinct to survive. Even when small businesses do have a marketing manager, though, many of them are trying to navigate through the complex sales and marketing landscape with little to no success or budget.
How to Promote Your Business with Limited Money is a general-purpose, how-to-business book written for business owners and marketing professionals by business owners Dr. Stan Fine and Joseph W. Clote. This guide is not intended to be read as a front-to-back chapter book and rather serves as a quick reference guide. Refer to this book as you need specific information and skip around as needed.
Promoting your business with limited money is one challenging feat, but there are unlimited ideas you can apply to achieve objectives you pre-establish. So put on your marketing hat and let's take action to start showing your prospects the value your business delivers.
A little you need to know about Dr. Stan Fine. During his 60-year career, Dr. Fine has become an authority on sales and marketing business development issues. His presentations have made him much in demand as a speaker and seminar leader. He has taught business development topics at numerous universities across the United States and has conducted over 500 sales and management seminars. Some of Dr. Fine's credentials in corporate America are currently Dr. Fine serves as a co-host of the It's Your Business radio show on KDORH 92.9 FM in St. Louis and a co-host of Nationwide Daily Radio Show on my Genre Radio Network on the Xeno Media platform. In 100 cities, he is also on a daily TV show on the Valuable TV and the Real TV networks. Go and get a copy of How to Promote Your Business with Limited Money today.
To purchase your copy of How to Promote Your Business with Limited Money, go to It's Your Business website at www.itsyourbusinessradio.com.
Welcome back to part 2 of Sage Advice with Melissa. I am your host, Melissa Coleman. We are here today talking about self-regulation, self-care. We've got Fred the therapist with us today. Hi, Fred. And then we've got my beautiful co-host here to my left, Miss Maddie King-Erger, and we are talking about amazing things today and how to help you if you are struggling. And we just want to remind everybody, if you're just now joining us, you are listening to us here on Saturday mornings from 11 to noon on KWRH 92.9 FM and also simulcasting on KXOK 102.9 FM. And then you can always catch us Monday through Fridays. Just go to usradionetwork.com and find our show, and all of our platforms will be listed there for you. So, Fred, we have, as I mentioned, been talking about all the amazing things that we can do for ourselves to help ourselves. So let's talk about what different techniques that you help your clients within regulating what's going on in their bodies. Because I feel like so much of what goes on in our heads, you know, just having someone in my family that struggles, you know, is so viscerally felt in the body.
Yeah. I'm not necessarily, maybe this might be a good one for Maddie, because for like somatic movement and yoga are a big piece, but I'm more of a meditation and 4-7-8 breathing type of person and writing it down. So Maddie, do you have anything for us with as far as with the body?
Yeah, one of the best techniques to do is literally just to shake. Like just start like shaking your body, because we have these channels all throughout our bodies. They're called nadis, and there's like 88,000 of them. Yes.
Wow.
Crazy. Yeah, it's crazy.
And what exactly is a nadi?
It's an energy channel.
Okay.
Like the chakras.
Right.
Those are actually nadis, but they go up the spine.
But those are like the main
Those
systems, right?
Yes, those
and
are
then
the main.
nadis are like the offshoots in the sewer that
Well, it technically, the chakras technically are nadis, but they're big ones.
Okay.
And then there's Ida and Pingala, which also go up the spine, and they weave like DNA, and they represent the masculine and the feminine energy that you want to be in balance, right? But I think the first thing to do is just like literally shake, like literally like just because it makes you just loosen up. Like you feel a bit silly, because I think we all just need to be reminded that we're silly little beings on a silly like spinning piece of rock in this universe, you know, like, and we're just in one galaxy, like there's a bunch of others. So when you put things into perspective and allow yourself to be silly, not take yourself so seriously, and that's why I say I start in the outside world, is I start with something physical, and then I start to feel the inward effects. And I don't think there's a wrong way to go about it, but if you're feeling overwhelmed, do something physical to get yourself out of your head first.
Recently I did something physical.
Ooh.
I went to Maddie's ecstatic dance event.
Ooh.
And I was nervous because I don't really dance. And
Okay, you were getting it.
well, eventually I got out of my head because you guided us through it, and I just was like, nobody cares. Why am I being so serious? Stop being such a perfectionist. Just move. It feels good. Let's get a sweat going. And yeah, that lowered anxiety and just brought stillness to my soul. It was good.
We had so much fun at that event. I think the key there was that I took you to a silly place, as opposed to like, oh, like we're very seriously dancing or anything. Like at one point I was like, everybody, all right, calm down. We're going to go to the grocery store. And I literally was like, come on, we're at the grocery store. Y'all start picking out your produce. What are you going to cook tonight? And you're distracting people, right? You're distracting people from like, oh, there are people around me. Maybe they're looking at me. Like, I'm like, no, let me take you into a different world. And, you know, I was like having them pick their food, and I was like, got to check it out. Okay, we're not stealing today. And people were just like, okay, this is funny. And evoking like a laugh, that brings them into that space of letting go. I mean, laughing, medicine. Like, you know how I've been saying live, laugh, love?
Yes.
I've been saying that a lot lately because I think that's really what we're here for. We're here to live, we're here to laugh, and we're here to love. And those things are medicine.
I absolutely agree with that.
Thank you for affirming me, Fred.
Got the official okie dokie.
Yeah, I feel good now.
That's awesome. So let's touch on another hot term, which we kind of mentioned in the beginning of the show. But, you know, you hear life transition. And like I mentioned to you, you know, in my mind, when I really first started seeing that term, like I automatically thought about transitioning from life into death, which I guess in a certain way is what we do in our life when we're changing. So would you expound on that a little bit more?
Yeah, I typically think of it as like career changes, or some people might call it an existential crisis or spiritual awakening even, but also life changes. Life is constantly changing. And so one day you could be this person and this is what your world is like. And then 2 days later, grandma's not doing well and you're her caretaker. And your life's drastically differently, and you're helping grandmother while continuing your life and your job. And so life's different for you. And so I see a lot of that just coming into clients when they come see me. It's not, oh, I'm just depressed. Oh, I'm anxious. I've got this clinical diagnosis. It's my life changed a lot and I'm not sure how to handle this. I just need a space to talk about it and get clear on how I've been handling it, how I want to handle it, what I need to start, what I need to change. And I just don't think the world doesn't give enough attention to just life transition. The only constant in life is change. Life is constantly changing. And sometimes the change happens in a way where it's difficult for us to keep up.
Absolutely.
And when we keep up, that can start to lead to anxiety, thinking about how we're going to do all these things that we have to do now that we didn't necessarily have to do a month or even 2 weeks ago.
And let me ask you, because I feel like your life transition, because that was pretty huge. And how for you kind of starting a new career, new practice, like in the throes of, it wasn't exactly COVID, but it was like on the tail end of all of that. How has that been for you dealing with all that?
Most days good, other days just absolutely terrifying.
Yeah.
I still have this, well, not so much now, but at the time I had this mentality that it's not okay to quit. It's not okay to do something different. So what I mean by quit is I had this career as a salesperson and I didn't want to do that anymore. But I've always been, I put it in terms of being an athlete, a team player, where you don't give up, you don't quit. That's not okay. I also got this message of just perfectionism, of not making mistakes, whether it be in school or on the job or hitting a number to meet a sales quota. It's just not okay to make mistakes, but I'm here to tell you it is. It's okay to change your mind and do something else if what you're doing is no longer serving you, or you just don't want to do it anymore. It's your life. You get one, maybe. I don't know. That's debatable. Right. But we're going to focus on this life, and it's yours. So live it how you want. And if you need to make some type of change in your life, whether it's career or ending a relationship, whatever it is, it's okay to do that.
Absolutely. And sometimes it's the best thing you can do. Yes.
100%.
Yes. And what has been a big life transition for you, Miss Maddie?
That's hard to say. I was talking with somebody in the grocery store yesterday, and she was like, what are you doing in the middle of the day? Like, are you like out of school, or like, are you out of work? I go, oh, well, I actually just do whatever I want, whenever I want. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, it's really great, actually. I was like, I just built a life where I just do everything I want. And her and the person like bagging my stuff up were just like, what in the world? And I was like, yeah, basically like I do yoga and wellness and marketing, and everything revolves around wellness. And I only work with clients that are doing wellness and applying my skill set of like marketing, branding, strategy, so on and so forth. And I transitioned from like corporate America into doing that. And I worked a service industry job in the meantime. She was like, "Was that scary?" And I go, "No." She was like, I was like, well, I worked that job, like I was able to support myself. And my mindset was, I can trust myself.
Yeah.
I am a good worker and I love to work and I love to do a good job. That's not a problem for me to do.
Mm-hmm.
But what happened is that when I turned my life over from how do I do what society has told me to do and make money and be successful to how do I serve people?
Yeah.
Like, how do I get there and be of service to people and really make a difference? And I literally was not thinking about money whatsoever. And that's when I found Miss Melissa or Miss Melissa. I don't know. We found each other.
Yes.
And that's when all of this abundance and prosperity started to compound, is that I was just showing up and doing the work that I wanted to do, that I loved to do, that I knew was affecting and impacting people positively, and being in that space of alignment. That's when everything came rushing in with like green light, green light, green light, feel good, feel good, feel good. You're supported, you're supported.
Mm-hmm.
And that wasn't hard. That's not a hard transition to go through. That's like the best transition you can go through. And so I will say the hardest part is the before, when you're considering. But you're right, Fred. Like, we have one life. I mean, at least this life. We have this one
that we
life
know of in
that,
this moment.
Yeah, that we know of. I mean, I don't know. Parallel, I don't know. But it's true. You have one life. Like, why don't you want it to feel good?
Mm-hmm.
As opposed to like you're just kind of like striving for something, but you're not really like, what's just literally like, what is the point of that?
Yeah.
If you think of that, and if you think about what I actually need to take care of myself, I think a lot of people think they need a lot of money, a lot of material things. You don't. You truly don't. And the more you get these things or you strive for them, the more attachment you have, which actually just leads to more suffering itself. But I hope that everybody is actually just chasing happiness, purpose, fulfillment. And I promise you, when you're doing that and you're living in alignment, it will feel easy and it will feel good.
Mm-hmm. I would agree. What about?
I'll agree.
For you?
I think my biggest problem then was I cared way too much about what other people thought, and it would keep me stuck in old patterns and doing things that weren't best for me. And I'm not going to say I fully have given that up, but I'm much better about not caring nearly as much about what other people think of me and what I'm doing, which allows me to make the best decisions for me. And 100% agree that being of service is the way to go. It's something that you enjoy doing and you can serve others and help change their lives. That's the secret sauce. That's what lights me up, makes me feel good in session, and then it carries out throughout the day. We talk about it as counselors, as we call it, the counselor's high. When you see someone come in one mindset and transform and move to a different one and start what we call demonstrating actualizing tendencies, where they're making decisions to consistently better their own lives, doing what they need to do to accomplish the type of life that they want. So like Maddie said, she's creating a life of ease, abundance, and prosperity. And for her, that doesn't mean $10 million. It means the freedom to do what she wants when she wants to do it and be of service and help others. So she created this image of her life in her mind, and she went and got it.
No, I love how this one lives. And I would say, because, I am definitely older than both of you, and I find so much joy and learn so much from young people today. I think there is such a circle of you young people that really are living life in a far different manner
Mhm.
than what I learned growing up. I mean, like even my bonus babies, I mean, they live life fully. They travel, they do what they want when they want, they work hard. You know, I think there's so much that people my age and older can really learn from young people. And I would say, don't miss out on friendships with younger people. Because I think, you know, some people get to a point that they think, younger, I can't learn anything. They don't know anything, you know, but to really be open to those that are around you, even if it's your kids or your grandkids or, you know, young people today are just amazing to me. Like I just find them so worldly and knowing in a different kind of way than I ever remember being at your ages. You know, there's that program that we've all been so ingrained, I would say, for those that are at that 50 threshold and up, that we're not all open to something better than what we've learned.
Yeah, but the opposite's true for us. Like, how about Maddie having you in her life? And recently, well, I have you in my life too, but I also recently made a friend. His name's Victor, and he's just amazing. He's a retired counselor, and he just pours into me. He shares his wisdom with me. We meet up for coffee, and we meet up for lunch, and we just have fun. And he doesn't tell me what to do. I ask him questions, and, you know, give me his honest opinion, and we just have a good time, just sharing wisdom and knowledge.
Which is
learning
everything.
from each other.
Right, that is everything. And let me ask you, for you, Fred, as you know, kind of new into this world, how based on what you've learned in school, how is it different now in how therapists approach their clients versus years ago? Because I feel like even some of the therapists that I know are approaching things in a much different way than what it once was.
It's a really good question. So for the therapists that can unlearn not all their schooling, but some of their schooling, and bring being a human into the room and sharing the practices that they know to be true and that help change their lives. There are so many awesome therapists out there. So I don't want to say that the days of the authoritarian therapist that doesn't show emotion or feeling in session are gone. Like, no, they still exist, but there are also these therapists that are on their second or third career and that have life experience to bring you, and that aren't judgy, and they want to hold space for people, and they really love this work, and this is what they do, and they're bringing some interesting things like mindfulness and the somatic experience that you guys talk about. That's one of the next things that I want to do, is like, let's get into the body. That's a training that's on my agenda. But yeah, therapy is evolving. It's like it originally was created by just basically white men, and now it's come into this whole evolution of just change. There's more Black male therapists coming into the environment, which is great, because Black men necessarily don't want to do therapy, or they've been taught to hold in their emotions and not talk about it. But there's also, they haven't felt safe in these spaces. And so now that there are more therapists that look like them in these spaces, and don't get it twisted. It's not so much about the skin color, it's the culture. It's being able to sit in the room with someone that has a similar worldview as you, that has an idea of what your life has been like, what it's like for me. When I saw a Black male therapist, he knew what it was like for me to be one of the few Black men in a predominantly white institution, whether that be school or the corporate space. So having someone that you can open up to and feel safe with, I think that's the number one thing you're looking for. So anyone out there that's thinking about therapy, I'm an option. But if I'm not someone you feel that you'll feel safe to open up to, that's what I want you to look for. And if that first option isn't it, that's okay.
Keep looking.
You can keep looking. It's okay to move on from your therapist. You're not stuck with them. You do what's best for you. But I encourage you not to give up on therapy because you have a bad experience. Move on to the next. Keep looking.
Absolutely. I think that's important just in any aspect of your wellness, your mindfulness, you know, your spirit is finding those people that resonate with you. Because if you're not working with someone that is filling you up in the way that you need, then that therapy or experience is only going to be so good.
Yeah.
And it's really important, like you said, to find that person that you can really work with. And let me ask you, because I know, you know, the last time we had you here that, you know, you do, not that you specialize, but it's important to you to work with, you know, men, teenagers, and, you know, preteen boys, I think, if I remember correctly, within your community. But do you feel that men and boys in general, no matter what color, that they are so conditioned and programmed not to express? It is
Absolutely.
problematic no matter what community you're in.
Boys learn it on the playground early. Like, cry on the playground and see what happens. Everyone's going to make fun of you.
Right.
You learn early to suck it up. Okay, it is not okay to talk about my feelings, let alone all the messages you get from TV and movies and just generational curses passed down. My dad was like this. His dad was like that. His dad was like that. So we always keep getting the same message. It's yeah, you may verbally get it, but it's not always someone sits you down and tells you to hold on to it and lock it up and don't share your feelings. But when you're this curious kid and you look around and that's what all the men seem to be doing, you get this message of, nope, I'm not sharing anything. Or my personal favorite, the boy who gets his heart broken, and he's like, nope, not doing that again. Not opening myself up to love and be vulnerable. But yeah, man, I'm here to tell you, do it again. Try it. Put yourself out there.
Yes, I love that. All right, everybody, we are actually about to wrap it up and turn it back over to the station. So, Fred, share one more time again how everybody gets a hold of you and where they can find you.
MentalAlchemyCounseling.com. Fred the Therapist on Instagram. 618-960-8700 is my phone number. Email address, fred.williams@mentalalchemycounseling.com. Yeah, 618-960-8700. Give me a call.
All right. Any last words of encouragement to anyone thinking about counseling out there or reaching out?
Just do it. Jump in. I was hesitant and terrified, and I did it, and it was an awful experience. And then I did it again, and it was the most transformative experience of my life, so much so that it led me to become a counselor.
All right, Fred, thank you for joining us. Maddie, thank you for being here with me as always. We want to leave you. Health is a state of mind. Wellness is a state of being. Be good, everyone, and we'll see you next week.
That a lot of communities face, which include extreme heat, include a lot of flooding,